So I know I've tried this recently consumed media thing several times and it never works out, but let's try it one more time, shall we? So I've watched a few things recently, starting with Frankenstein Unbound, which I think is probably the only thing I've watched on DVD. Well, not the only thing I've watched on DVD, but the only thing I've watched on DVD that I'm going to talk about in this video. So this is a 1990 movie directed by Roger Corman. I believe it's the last movie he directed. This is a really cool cover, I have to say. I had never heard of this movie, or I didn't think I had. The ending of the movie was pretty familiar, so I think I at least had seen that before. I mostly watched it because it has Bridget Fonda in it. Very weird movie. John Hurt plays a scientist who's doing some weapons testing in the future, and it causes a tear in time-space, and he and his futuristic talking car get sucked back in time to the 19th century, where he meets Victor Frankenstein, who has already created his monster at this point, and it's wreaking havoc on the town, and insists that he create a mate for it. So this is kind of more of a Bride of Frankenstein story, I guess. And Bridget Fonda plays Mary Shelley, who also lives in this timeline, apparently. But I thought the special effects and everything were really good for the time. I mean, it looks like, I expected something really low budget, but it looks like it has a decent budget. The monster was terrifying. Like, the makeup effects just creeped me out. He is a little bit just creepy in a goofy way, I don't know. But there's some really cool sets and lighting effects at the end. I'm kind of like simultaneously repulsed by this movie, but at the same time there's a lot of things that I think deserve praise. Then we had They/Them, which was streaming on Peacock, I think. I had COVID when I watched this, so I don't know what effect that had on my opinion. I probably had a fever, but I actually kind of liked this one. It might have worked better as more of a psychological thriller, because that's more like what it felt like for most of the movie. I did like the slasher elements, but I kind of also forgot it was supposed to be a slasher, because nothing slashery really happens for a long time. It's kind of a slow burn, but I don't know, I kind of liked the psychological horror aspect of it. I didn't think I was going to like this movie, because I thought I was going to find the characters annoying I had seen the trailer for it, and I don't know. I just thought I was going to find the characters annoying, but I actually didn't mind them. Most of the reviews I've seen have complained about the characters being stereotypical and not very fleshed out, and I can see that, but I didn't mind. They did feel very dated, though. Like, it feels like it's set in, the mid-2000s or something. It doesn't seem like it reflects the attitudes of younger LGBT plus people. From most of the reviews and comments that I've seen, it did not seem to resonate with them at all. The sad thing about this movie to me is reading an interview with the writer-director and what he was trying to do. He meant to be empowering, but so many people seem to see it as being mean-spirited. Most of the people said the killer was obvious, but I'll be honest, I didn't guess them. All of the twists actually got me, even though, after the fact I was like, yeah, that's a pretty common plot twist, but yeah, I didn't catch any of it. I thought Kevin Bacon was really good. I liked how his character at the beginning, when he starts out, he kind of seems like you're not expecting him to be like this positive sounding character, so that was interesting. I liked seeing Anna Chlumsky, however you say her name. I thought everybody was pretty decent. A lot of complaints I've seen were that the acting was really bad, but I don't know, I thought everybody was pretty decent. A lot of people were complaining about how terrible the dialogue was, but I didn't really notice, other than, like I said, it felt kind of stuck in the past and not reflective of modern feelings of LGBT plus issues. But then again, I get most of my social commentary on Twitter, which seems to skew ultra liberal. I don't know what they're talking about half the time, to be honest. But anyway, I enjoyed the movie for the most part. I didn't think it was anywhere near as bad as people were saying it was, but that's just me. Also, I really liked the scene where they all like bust out singing the Pink song, even though it's kind of ridiculous that that song would have that kind of status, but I liked the sentiment of the scene. Next, I watched What Josiah Saw, which I think was on Shudder. I watched it because Robert Patrick was in it. I love Robert Patrick, and he was good. Can't say I really liked his character, but I saw a lot of people praising this movie, and I didn't really care for this one that much. It's slow and depressing, and it's about this fucked up family, and I didn't really get the point of it. The atmosphere is really creepy, and it's got some twists and reveals, but I just didn't know why I was supposed to care. Then I watched Prey, the Predator prequel thing on Hulu. I thought it was fun. I didn't think it was amazing, but I'm not really a fan of the Predator movies. I think I've only seen like the first two, like a long time ago. So that being said, this would probably easily be my favorite. I mean, it was a good, solid, entertaining movie. It was fun. I liked it. And I've got a few TV series. We've been watching Only Murders in the Building on Hulu. We're a little behind, a few weeks probably. So my opinion is mostly on the first season. I loved it because it's like a murder mystery where Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez all live in this same apartment building, and a murder happens, and they end up discovering that they all listen to this one famous true crime podcast, and then they kind of strike up a friendship and end up starting a podcast of their own about the murder in their building. There's all these plot twists, and Martin Short is so funny. He's like this Broadway producer, director, but like he's kind of fallen on hard times. But he's just so much fun. And then Pretty Little Liars Original Sin? Is that what it's called? On HBO Max. Me and my sister watched the original Pretty Little Liars series and enjoyed that. What was I talking about? Okay, Pretty Little Liars. Yeah, me and my sister watched that series together, like while it was on, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, it was kind of a ridiculous show anyway, but this new series has more of a horror spin to it. It's not as horror as something like the Scream TV series, but it's still a lot of fun. It has some references to horror movies, like the title cards are, I think, in the Halloween font. There's a masked slasher killer who hasn't really done a whole lot of slashing so far, but I like that element to it. I think the girls are really likable. I like the mystery of it. It's just something fun for us to watch together. So, and then something non-horror. I watched the A League of Their Own series on Amazon Prime. I really liked it. The 90s movie is one of my favorites, but this new series doesn't, I mean, it's got all different characters. It doesn't really follow the movie, but there's nods to it. Completely different characters, and some of them are similar to the ones that are in the movie in different ways. It's super gay. I started watching it with my sister, Well, actually, I started watching it by myself, and like the first 5 minutes of the show were so funny that I was like, I called her in to see if she wanted to watch it, and we ended up watching the first couple of episodes together. But then I was like, I didn't know it was going to be this gay, so I kind of watched the next few episodes without her, and then ended up finishing the series. And it's not that it's explicit in any way, it's just there's LGBT plus characters that are front and center, like their stories are the focus. So it's got a lot of representation. You've got the storyline with the girls on the baseball team, and then there's also a parallel story with these black girls, and then like the storylines kind of end up veering together somewhat. There's some really great friendships, like Max and Clance are the two black girls. Max, her dream is to play baseball, and Clance is like really into comic books and drawing. She was hilarious. I loved her, but their friendship is awesome. Overall, it's a feel-good show. Like, there's some bad things that happen to some of the characters, but they don't really dwell on it. I thought it was really funny. There's like moments from the movie that they've taken and like used them in a different way in this, so it was kind of fun to recognize those things. The biggest complaint I've seen is about it not being historically accurate, and that's true. I mean, it takes place in the 40s, but like they're speaking in a more modern style, and like they use music from all eras in the like the montages. There were some romantic storylines that I didn't mind them. Like they weren't what was driving my interest. I'll put it that way. There's a lot of great characters and a lot of things going on at once. So, but I enjoyed the show overall. I liked that it felt positive for the most part. I actually cried at the end of the championship game. Not to give away too many spoilers, but like in the movie, like the ending of the movie has been debated for years. Like, and you feel the disappointment that the characters are feeling, whereas this one has no ambiguity to the ending of the game, and it's just uplifting. Except there's a little bit of a zinger at the very end of the show. Like, it has a little bit of a shock ending where like the last shot you're like, oh shit. But it seems like it's doing well enough that it might get a second season at least. I'm following one of the creators on Twitter, and he's like really promoting the show and interacting with the fans and stuff. So from my perspective, it seems like it's doing well. I know there was like a short-lived TV show that took place after the movie back in the 90s, but I never saw that one. Anyway, I guess that's about it. I'm looking forward to checking out She-Hulk. I probably should have talked about Stranger Things, but that's been a while, and I don't really remember. I did like it, but I did also kind of feel like it went on a little long. Like, they could have condensed some of that stuff down. Like, the Russia stuff, I wasn't all that... I didn't like that everybody was separated into all the different groups, and some of the Russia stuff I could have did without. Some of the stuff in the desert I could have did without. Like, the main group that I liked was, you know, Eddie and all the ones that were back in... What is the place called? Hawkins? Yeah. So... But I liked it. Yeah. That's all I'll say. I just spit all over everything. Anyway, I feel like this went on for way longer than I meant for it to. So, yeah. That's it. Until next time. Keep on creeping on. Yeah, cheers. Thanks a lot.